All right, and on to the last one, 10 whole steps. Oh, baby, I opened the wrong screen. And wait a second, this one looks really familiar. I'm pretty sure this exact one was on your homework the other day. All right, but anyways, Q is the midpoint of PR. That means that PQ is congruent to QR, and then R is the midpoint of QS, which means that QR is congruent to RS. This is the exact same one from the homework. Okay. So, anyways, starting from step 1, Q is the midpoint of PR, that's given. Number 2, R is the midpoint of QS, that is given. 3, PQ equals QR and QR equals RS. Okay, we said they're congruent. They just skipped that, but I mean, you're getting that from the definition of midpoint. All right. You get that from the definition of midpoint. They kind of skipped one because the definition of midpoint technically says that PQ is congruent to QR. And then you go from PQ equals QR because of definition of congruence. But, you know, let's just bundle it up together. There it is. Okay, anyways. Next step, transitive property over here. PQ equals QR, QR equals RS. That means that, look at that, instead of, look at these QRs, I can delete those and just say PQ equals RS. That's the transitive property. Okay, next one, step 5. PQ plus PQ equals PQ plus RS. Wait a second, how did they get that? PQ plus PQ equals PQ plus RS. That's because PQ equals RS as seen in step 4. You can just substitute. So, substitution property. Because we're just writing PQ plus PQ, and then we substituted RS in places of one of the PQ, and it would say PQ plus RS. Okay, next one, they're simplifying. That's step 6, simplify or combine like terms. Because now we have 2PQ equals PQ plus RS. All right, next step you see, number 7, we're using the substitution property. So what could I substitute here? Well, first, let me just look at the next step. Step 8, we can see that we're going from QR plus RS, and in step 6, we have PQ plus RS. So from my inference, it looks like the RS is still there. You see that? But the PQ changed into a QR. So probably, look at step 3, PQ equals QR. We're going to substitute the QR in for PQ. So our next step is going to say 2PQ equals QR plus RS. And that's because step 3 right here, PQ equals QR, so I can replace that PQ with the QR, and that's substitution property. All right, the next step you see, number 8, it says QR, so they're saying, look at this, take a look, QR right here plus RS equals QS. They're saying 2 parts add together to equal the whole. That is going to be the segment addition postulate. All right, and number 9, 2PQ equals QS. They're giving you a hint. Use steps 7 through 9. So let's look at step 7. 2PQ equals QR plus RS. QR plus RS equals QS. So 2PQ equals QS. That's going to be the transitive property. Transitive property of equality. Because look at this. I'm going to write it out for you. 2PQ equals QR plus RS, and QR plus RS equals QS. So if I, QS, kind of off the page, but you can kind of see it. So if I delete this middle part, 2PQ equals QS, which is what we have in step 9. And then our final step, step 10, we're trying to prove that PQ equals 1/2 QS. So that's going to be, we're just going to write that in here. PQ equals 1/2 QS. And how do we go from step 9 to 10? We divided both sides by 2. That means we use the division property of equality. And we have finished this question. We have finished the review. So study this, and you will be ready for the test tomorrow. Good luck, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.